All right, so they released the first sneak peek for A Taste of the Heights, and I have a comment about that we'll talk about after we watch it. So let's get to it. 1, 2, 3.
It would appear Facilier was right. Something did attack here.
We have to find this thing and stop it. I mean, just look at the bite it took out of this.
Not exactly a mouth you'd want to kiss, now is it?
Who are you?
My shiny coat and my sharp spear don't give it away. I'm the hero who's going to kill this beast of a gator.
Then you're even stupider than you look, because whatever attacked this dock is too big to be any gator.
You don't have to believe me. In fact, it's probably best if you and your friends run along.
If anyone is running along, it is you.
Fiery. Ooh, I like that. You remind me of someone. Oh, myself.
You do best to cut the quips. This is the future queen of the kingdom you're talking to.
Allow me to introduce myself. Prince Naveen of Maldonia, at your service.
Wait, you're really a prince?
I've been tracking this fearsome beast across the entire realm. My enchanted spear is the only weapon strong enough to kill it.
Now he is bragging about his enchanted spear.
Well, what's the harm in bringing him? We can always use him as bait.
And I'll enjoy saving his life and showing him what a real hero is like.
All right, so I really like the sneak peek. I really feel that Makia Cox is the embodiment of Tiana, and she's perfectly cast. And if they ever make a live-action Princess and the Frog, I would consider pulling her from the small screen to the big screen because I feel Tiana when I see her. Now, in the beginning of the scene, Hook says, Facilier said, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I thought that was really interesting that Facilier is on their side. Now we've seen from promotional photos for this part of the season that Facilier is going to have some type of relationship with Ronnie/Regina, and I think it's really interesting that he's maybe not a bad guy. So they're twisting up Facilier's character a little bit. Once generally does twist the canon of a lot of Disney shows or movies, except for Frozen. With Princess and the Frog, they seem to be keeping it relatively congruent, but adding their own spice to it by having, Tiana meet Prince Naveen a little later. Also, Tiana is a princess. But that's beside the point. I really like the camera work in the scene. I thought it was really well done. I like the humor, like how he talked about the spear and Tiana made the comment about that. I thought that was really funny. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the episode. There's like not too much else to really dissect about it because it's essentially they're trying to find a gator. Here's Naveen. Tiana and Naveen are going to go on some type of adventure. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more Facilier. And it was well done. It was well constructed. Like I said, camera work was great. I like how it had Cinderella and Tiana together because in the beginning of season 7, they did hype up Cinderella and Tiana to have a friendship. And I think in, Disney princess crossovers, like that's a great idea. I still like that idea. I just still don't like Danya Ramirez as Cinderella, but maybe in this episode we can see a little bit more of that friendship play out as well. But I've already talked about Danya Ramirez many, many times. But again, I love the idea of Cinderella and Tiana being friends. I think that's fantastic. And then you throw Captain Hook in there and it's even better. Another thing I briefly wanted to mention was I got a chance to look at the ratings, and at this point, the show's canceled. Ratings are just the number. But last week's episode, which really seemed to be super hyped up by ABC, by the actors, was the lowest rated episode of the series, and that baffles me. Because they actually promoted it really well. However, it appears that the 2018 television season, for at least the fall shows that aired in 2017, are a little weaker because even The Flash on the CW is struggling with its numbers. Now, Flash is always in the twos, but it's dipped quite a bit, as well. Once his mid-season finale in the fall had 2.29 million people watch it, and then here it only had 2.14. But I guess even with good marketing, it's kind of relevant because just no one regrettably wants to watch. And that's actually one thing I want to post to you guys in the comments below. What's your story when it comes to how you found Once Upon a Time? Do you watch it on Hulu? How'd you find it? I'm kind of curious. I want to know a little bit more about how people got into the show. Like, I watched it on DVD for season 1, and then I watched season 2 on television. At least part of season 2. I watched the majority of season 2 on TV, and I watched the first 8 episodes through on demand. But yeah, so once his numbers, they're just gonna be low. I wouldn't. Anyone who's interested in television ratings, you're probably gonna be sad as you see once, because it's either just gonna slowly dip or be a little bit more, go up like a fraction to 2.29, maybe 2.40, because the show's been 2.20 to 2.40. 2.14 is the lowest I've ever seen for the show. It is the lowest, and it is very sad that a show that started off with 12 million people watching it is ending with 2 million. But back to the scene again. I really think Makia Cox is brilliant as Tiana. I can't wait to see more of her. It's interesting to me because they killed Gabrielle Anwar's character, or characters, because she technically played 2 last week, and then they throw another Disney character at us again. And to me, it's like season 7 is so oversaturated with characters, and then people are also thinking about older characters, that there's no reason to keep throwing them at us, because at this point they're like, well, it's canceled, we'll do whatever we want. But from the way I view this, there's no reason to keep adding more and more characters. Like, if what would make more sense is to have removed the Nick, Jacinda, Henry storyline. That just seems kind of stupid, because Nick was supposed to be hyped to be Henry's friend, just like how Tiana and Cinderella were hyped to be friends, but you don't really see it, so you can't believe it. Like, show not tell. That's the golden rule with TV and movies. You're supposed to observe, not just be told. And when it comes to once, like I said, with Cinderella and Tiana being friends, Nick, Henry being friends, it's just so many characters. So I personally would have added Naveen way in the beginning, after they did Greenbacks, and maybe brought him in episode 7 or something like that, just so that way there was a bit more fluidity with the way that Tiana's character has been developed. Because Makia Cox, she's great, and she's gotten to do absolutely nothing, and it's really unfortunate for Makia Cox fans or Princess and the Frog fans, because if you want to see that representation, it just kind of seems like tokenism, and I'm not into that discussion. Like, I don't want to discuss that, but in all honesty, it really feels that way to me, because she's just there. It's like, Tiana's there, but she's not doing anything. She's not really relevant to the plot. So I do hope that with this episode, she might start to get more relevance. But it seems that at the same time, this is just from the sneak peek, and the trailer is much more involved. But I wish that maybe Mother Gothel was involved as well. I hope that somehow in the flashback that Gothel and Facilier meet, because Gothel is kind of the glue that is binding all these stories together. So anyway, that was my review of the sneak peek. I did like it. I like the camera work. I like the acting. Even Danya Ramirez was good in the moment she talked, and I want to see her and Makia Cox interact as Tiana and Cinderella, because we've seen Sabine and Jacinda. I see the friendship there, but I need to see the friendship in the past as well, so that way I can have a bit more emotional connection to it. Oh, also, last thing I want to do, because I asked you guys, I want to know a bit about your Once Upon a Time history, as well as how you started to watch it. Are you watching the show live on Fridays? I sometimes watch it live on Fridays, sometimes I don't. Or are you watching it the next day? But I'm just curious how that goes for you guys. So anyway, share your thoughts about the sneak peek in the comments below. I hope you can answer my questions, and I will see you all tomorrow. I will be watching the episode live. All right, guys.